Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is it war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, peace. Alright, isn't it time, brother, stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all we gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace. Alright. Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright, isn't it time, brother, stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace. Alright, peace, together. Peace.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Between Two Worlds, chasing shadows or shadow chasing. I mean, we're always chasing our shadow, you know, and maybe somebody else's. I want to give the Academy thank you very much for being. Anyways, what can I say? I got this given to me by my good friend Jordan Maxwell before he passed away. It's both him and Johnny Enoch gave it to me for I guess Hollywood for achievement. I try. Yeah, it's funny as all heck. What can I say? I do know that the apparently the Academy Award has something to do with possibly, someone said to me, something to do with Freemasonry. I'm not too sure about that. I didn't look it up yet, but I had someone actually mention that to me, that actually it's all to do with Freemason. So we'll see what happens if it is all to do with the Freemason, right? I will look it up later on. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about this evening, and I mean, right now the ongoing story is about smart cities. Everybody's talking about smart cities. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? And everyone knows about smart cities now, but it's bigger than you think. Smart cities are not meant to be smart. They're not so smart cities because they're a bunch of dumbasses who actually created it. And I will tell you why. Number one, if you decide, and when they decided to not allow any gas propelled vehicles or fueled vehicles to travel to any store or to even leave your home, because they want to prevent the carbon to be expelled into the air, right? Oh, I don't want to breathe this. Well, number one, you don't suck on exhaust pipes, right? Anyways, they're thinking that the carbon is going to be, they want to make it zero carbon like emissions like China. It's never going to happen, folks. Like zero snake bites in China. No, ain't going to happen. There's always going to be someone who, there's no really anybody who is sick anymore. It's over. WEF. Okay. It's over. But you know what they're doing? They want to make it where they can control you. So, did you know that the smart cities was created back in 1918? Oh, I bet you didn't know that, did you? Smart cities were actually organized back in 1918 during the Spanish flu time. They helped create that at the very beginning. Guess what? It didn't work because a lot of the police officers did not want to agree with it after when they realized there was nobody walking on the streets anymore. The only people that are walking on the streets freely without a passport or any kind of booklet or whatever saying you have the freedom to walk the street, if you are in favor of the government, that means if you are very rich, you have the ability to travel anywhere you want. So they were custom designing their very own masks on their nose, just a nose mask, not a mouth mask, a nose mask. Okay. It reminds me of Cat Ballou, the movie Cat Ballou. If you guys don't know about the movie, look at the movie. Lee Marvin played the character with a little cap on his nose because the nose was gone missing. Because apparently his twin brother shot his nose off. So that's exactly what they wore. There's actually a photograph of a guy who's multimillionaire, wore this nose mask, just a nose mask. Now was to prevent, supposedly, no one to get sick. Oh, there's some really ridiculous stuff I've seen, and they're walking around with signs back in 1918, and it says on there, wear a mask or go to jail. But if you look at the photographs, this is what I find humorous. You look at the photographs and all the kids pull their masks down to here. Okay, below their nose. They know full well the kids weren't going to get sick, but they did. Back in 1918, there's photographs. I got videos of it. It's proof. Proof. Nobody can fact check this. Okay? No one can prove it because your fact checkers are funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and also by other multi-rich people brought to you by sponsor Moderna. You know, because Moderna's on every freaking channel. Anytime to do that, any kind of gathering, football game, baseball game, sports, any kind of events, even halftime, sponsored by Moderna. Why? Why is Moderna the main sponsor? Why is it so important that Moderna be the main sponsor? To remind you that they're in full control of you. Because Moderna is in control with the WEF. Moderna is working with WEF and every other company, okay, that works with WEF. Now they want everybody to get a snake bite. Those who have those who will that who refuse will either get a ticket or arrested, a threat of arrest, a threat to arrest, and I'll tell you why. Here in British Columbia, I've been getting so many texts and videos people sending to me. All these people living in British Columbia here in BC. A lot of people have gone to hospitals, to clinics, and they walk in, and there's a fellow I know, big Clark Fedoruk. Big shout out to you, my friend. I read your column. He was refused. Like he had to go in the hospital because he busted up his fingers. Really busted up his fingers. They refused to, well, basically at first, they weren't going to let him get any help unless he wore a mask. Now, knowing him, he's already awakened. He already knows. And they would not even, they even threatened to even have him arrested if he refused to wear a mask. Threatened for arrest. This is 2023, not Agenda 2020. Hospitals, they're living in the time of where it began, the threat. Now they're threatening people in the hospitals who refuse to wear a mask, threatening to arrest them, or they will call security. And apparently security now is are actually, they're the ones that are telling you if you're allowed in or not. It's security, not security's responsibility to tell if you're allowed to come in the hospital or clinic at all. It's none of their damn business. They're hired to protect not a citizen. They're protecting as if nothing ever gets stolen or making sure nothing bad happens. Security is only security. You're not police officers. You're not rent-a-cops. And you're not wearing a gun. I know you guys were just recently were given handcuffs. What? I have a friend who actually once was a security officer. He can tell you that what the bylaws are, what you're allowed to do, what not allowed to do. But one thing you're told, that is you have not the right to arrest or maintain any hold of someone down. You can't wrestle them to the floor. You can't kick them in the head or knee them in the head. This is in the BC Hospital, Sir Memorial. It happened a few weeks back. They put the boots to a guy who refused to wear a mask. Security came in and put the boots on him. They're not cops. They're bullies for hire. And our city councilors allowed it. You know, I have been avidly supporting the city of Surrey after our mayor, McCallum, was removed. Because we have a new mayor who comes in, and she's supposed to be doing an excellent job. I was trying to give her support because she got, she was trying to help clean up Surrey. Basically, here in British Columbia, there's a Surrey, England, and a Surrey, BC in Canada. But she was actually helping to get rid of all the corruption. But we have, and she may not know this, but we have corruption in the hospitals. We got corruption in the Sir Memorial Hospital. Did you know that, folks? We have corruption in there all the time, every day, all day. Because the people that work there, they're hired there, they're there for one reason, and that is to hurt you before you even enter. They're going to break your damn fingers before you get to the doctor. They'll bust you in the head and say, well, I can't help you unless you I can't unless you wear that mask. If people are exempt, you cannot, hospital, arrest them. You cannot hold them down or maintain any withhold, whatever you want to do. You cannot do that. It is illegal. Absolutely illegal. That's called assault with a deadly weapon. Security officers, you understand. You don't bully these guys. You don't just say, sir, you can't do that. We won't lie with this. No, they don't do that. They'll bring in 2 or 3, even 4 security officers to beat the living crap, to manipulate you down. Even if you're an elder. If an elder refuses, they even grab him to the ground and wrestle him to the point that he's got a damn near broke his arm or leg. He's already got a busted hip before he can get started. This pisses me off. And Sir Memorial, you allow this? Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry for losing it. I don't swear often, but this is getting to be too much. And they're getting away with it. The Sir Memorial Hospital is the worst hospital ever. And I got to deal with this because my wife goes there for taking care of her cancer. But she's in the cancer clinic, not the main emergency entrance. We got a problem, folks. We got a very big problem. See, what's happened to WEF, what they've done is they've given more power to the hospitals. And they've actually allowed them to actually say whatever they want to do, threaten you whatever they want to do, and get away with it. But anybody who works at Sir Memorial, or even knows anybody that works there, I'm going to give you guys a bit of advice. Serious military advice. Military. You will not ever think you're going to get away with this. You have provincial police and you have federal police. You are on, I guess you say, notice. When you start beating up people for no reason, except you think they have to wear a mask, you already know masks don't work. They never have. That was just to keep your mouth shut. When you beat up people, you're on the list. Because the military won't tolerate that. That's called... I'm going to say something first. You're on notice. Because anyone who goes in the hospitals now today, and if they get physically assaulted by the security with no reason, besides if you're dealing with, having to manipulate people with a mask, you're going to be arrested. You're going to be charged under military tribunal. You'll be taken away. You're making a 1 length trip, and you're heading out. They're going to take you straight up to Guantanamo Bay, and you're going to Cuba, and you're going you'll be going to trial, military charges for crimes against humanity. You were given a test. This is what President Trump had said. Okay? Anyone who abuses the authority, they won't tolerate it. But you're given a test to see how far you get away with it. Guess what? You're being watched. You're being watched real close. Not just me. People that know President Trump, people that know of the military, they're coming for you, buds. I don't care, man or woman. Doctors abuse it, nurses abuse it, whoever you are, you trying to abuse this industry or abuse your power, you're done. You don't lose your license. You're done. You think you're going to get away with this, and you think you're following who? Well, that's my job. No, it's not. You're a scaredy cat. You haven't learned to stand up for your rights. Rights as a human being. If you freaking think that Trudeau, this Trudeau, is your leader? No, he's not. He never will be, because the real guy's gone. The real one has been gone for a long time. This is an actor. You're in a movie, folks. You're in a movie. And yet there's people out there still believing this is all real. They're still believing that this is going to come to an end to the point of people wanting to commit suicide even now. Because once they heard about the smart cities, they're going, well, if that's going to happen, then I'm going to take my life. No, you're not. Don't be ridiculous. That's just an abuse of a threat. They want to see how far you go. The WEF is trying to see if they can get away with it. They're an organization. They're not a law. Folks, listen to me. The World Economic Summit is not a law. They're not a law. They have nothing to do with the law. They had I've got photographs. They have created a catalog back in 2018, before this whole thing started, what they were going to do by taking you off this earth. I got the catalog. They actually put it together. Someone sent me a copy of it. I read parts of it. Are you kidding me? They were ready to do this long before 2019, long before 2020. It was 2018 this catalog was actually started. WEF already started it. So did Canada. Trudeau was on board with this since 2016-17. He's been on board on having to become the dictator of this country. That was his goal. He wanted to be the dictator. Why do you think he's avoiding all questions and answers? Why do you think? Let's put it this way. He's been avoiding all of you, each and every one of you, because you let him. You walk away. Oh, well, that's just him. No, I don't know. He's not going to change if you let him get away with it. Your Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms is and always will be real. It is real. Okay? Under the Nuremberg Code 2.0 and also your Geneva Convention. Those three codes are international codes. They protect you. Once you are saying that to an officer or even security, they have to back off, and they know they got to back off. And if they don't back off, they're going bye-bye. What do you think of, let's put it this way, Bonnie Henry's not here no more. Hello? Why was she replaced all of a sudden? Hello? It wasn't because she decided to quit. Hello? Because she knew she got herself in deep trouble. And she knew that she was paid over $1 million to lie to you. Actually, it was 1.2 or 1.4 million. She was told to basically lie to you, and she got paid. Guess who paid her? Trudeau. Make sure she got the payment. Why do you think? You guys got to go. We got to go back. Remember some of those videos. These other health authorities had stated, and they were recorded. They stated. Every one of them had stated, "Oh, well, I'm not sure what to say here, but this piece of paper tells me this is what I have to say on the news, on every mainstream media." Oh, I'm glad these guys put the papers in front of me, because I don't know what I don't even know what they're doing, or I don't even know what's going on. I'm not sure. I don't wear a mask very often, she says. But when they turn on the camera, we'll put the mask on. Just took off the mask. That's exactly what you guys did. Every one of you politicians, every one of you rich folks, when you get interviewed, you put your mask on before you go on the camera, or you're going to take it off and talk. You never even wore your mask at all. You know? Keel. Yeah, well, she got duped. She should have asked for more. Yeah, well, she's gone now permanently. But I'm telling you guys, you guys might not realize this. I mean, I'm talking about people. This is our government in Canada. This is, I mean, it's we have the same problem in the States. I mean, I'm not from the States, but I have friends that send me stuff from the States. They're having the same problem in some of the hospitals as well. They're still told that they cannot walk into a hospital or walk into a clinic or even go to a pharmacy where they want to get a medication or something, or even walk into a pharmacy. They're also told to still have to wear a mask. Are you kidding me? Nobody else is wearing masks anywhere. Yeah, Tom says, how can Mr. T, Canada, Mr. Fancy, like what's his name calls him, Mr. Fancy Socks? Yeah, he gets away by molesting a 14-year-old girl, pays off the family, and not get charged because the family got paid off a few $1,000,000 to keep their mouth shut, and that's exactly what he did. This guy, you guys may not realize you're allowing a pedophile to run your country. Do you get it? He's running our country, and you guys, there's proof, and it's been proven every time around, and you still let him be your prime minister. Why are you walking away from this? Oh, I forgot. They passed a bill. 8 years of age now, once after he passed that bill, they can't go after him because he passed the bill himself personally. So any child from the age of 8 on up, they can rape them anytime they want to, and you can't do nothing about it. This is our country, Canada. We never had that before. Now, mind you, a lot of our Canadian history, there were frontiers people that are from other countries married here in this country, married girls from the ages of 12 to 14 or 16 years old, married them, but didn't keep them. When they went to go back to their own country, they flogged them off to another guy who would have them as a cook and a housekeeper or whatever, and have kids with them. That's exactly what they did. Canada has abused young women, young girls, for generations since Canada got started, and most of them are from Europe. They came down here, got a few girls. They're offered to have, whether they're First Nations and or white, but they got them. Yeah, they were pretty well sex slaves because that's the way they were treating them. And they figured that the woman had no power, none whatsoever, that she could not stand up for herself. And that's exactly what they did. They took that away from the woman. Why did they call her the weak sex? Because they want you to believe that she was weak. But guess what? There were some women out there that were independent that kicked your ass. Calamity Jane, Annie Oakley. There were women lived in the bush, kicked your ass. Some women actually that turned their business into a cat house business. But the woman who was the madam, she kicked your ass, and she wouldn't take any crap from you. I don't care. She didn't care how big you were. I read so many stories about some of these women that are so strong. They had to fight for their rights, and they fought for their girls, and they fought for families, and these girls wouldn't tolerate it. You guys tend to forget that a lot of women out there are tougher than you think. Today, it's begin to change again. Now they're trying to make the men the weaker sex and the women the stronger than us. Because that's where they came in with the word trans. Well, let's change all that. The reason why trans because he now is a she. Oh, kick your ass. It gets to be crazier and crazier all the time. And what they put into the food, that weakens the man's brainwave thinking that he's not strong enough. You know, that's right. I've never seen Pierre Poilievre's wife out there standing up for herself. Not once. He's always out front. I remember there was people actually protesting, or went outside of his house People walked up to his house and he walked outside and she stood behind him, but she wouldn't speak to the people because they're asking for her opinion, what she thinks of certain things in government. She refused. She wouldn't talk. Pierre did all the talking. Right? So the fact is, folks, those tests that you think you're taking, those dipsticks, they don't work, and they've never worked. Of course, she was involved because he told her to keep in mind. I remember one time I overheard him saying one part, he was to mind her own business. This is politics, and she backed off. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." That was in front. That was actually at his house. Oh, I've seen people try to talk to him, and everybody thinks he's the hero. They think he's going to take care of everything. That he's calling out Trudeau for what he is. Polyev is even the same. Polyev supports all the bad stuff too. He's just want you to go to his way. He's not as true as you guys think he is. This is a movie in Parliament. You know, he's well spoken because he's learning from his lines. They're all corrupt in there right now. Most of them are. There are some really good people in there that are in the background that were wanting to say something. Polyev won't let them. Okay, we've had some guys in Parliament during the time of whatever when we had the COVID. You know, Catherine says, yeah, Derrick, there was a female hormones embedded even in receipts that are handed out in stores. Yes. You know, I remember someone actually sent me a photograph of a muscular man and a much smaller, slimmer man, and the way we once dressed when I was young compared to how they dress today, not the same. These men dress more like a girl would dress, like it's just doesn't have a masculine look to it anymore. Men are not looking masculine anymore. Men are looking more like what girls would wear. They've lost the fashion sense. They really have. Men have lost the fashion sense. If there are some guys wearing suits, good. There are guys out there not wearing suits. I don't know. Men are becoming so soft-spoken, they're lisping. Sorry. And they're not even gay. I'll say that word. I'm too old for this. It's changed. Our history, we have so many chemicals that are based in our foods that changes the men's, I could just say, masculinity and the way the brain thinks. You know, it's not the same anymore. There's that man that plays a role out in the bush that he hunts. That's the guy you want. The one that's in Alaska, the one that's out there, he's actually hunting and fishing for his mate. That's the real true guy. You hang around the city, he can't find nothing. He's lost, and there's no bush. If he finds a little willow laying on the ground, oh, I'm lost. This willow fell over. You know, my generation is good. It's the generation to the grandkids, I would say, the ones in their 20s are the ones that are not as stronger. They're more, I'm not going to say docile. It's more like they're not wanting to make an effort to stand up for their freedom. You know, yes, it's true, Gail. It does work. I mean, it's for in both sexes, both women and men. I'm just basing men because I'm trying to get the men to act more like men. And I'm not going to base this down by any freaking his, her, or him. You know, look, we're born two sexes, man and woman. That's it. Nothing more. You change things. Like I tell people this, and another person said this as well. You're born a girl, you're a girl. You're born a boy, you're a boy. You go back home to God, you're either a boy or a girl. You cannot change. You can actually change your sex, but you come back as that person, not the person you think you identify yourself as. That's the way it works. And yet there's kids today, young 16-year-old boy, young boy, who actually went to school, okay, and was arrested for saying this. A boy is a boy, a girl is a girl. He was arrested, taken to jail, charged. Now he's going to be serving time in prison. Are you kidding me? They're going after more kids. They're trying to stand up for their rights of being individuals. And they're saying you're not an individual unless you actually do as we say as we do. And the law was passed by Trudeau that if you call yourself a man or a woman, you have to apologize to the rest of the community because they find that as an insult. That they're saying the LGBTQ plus, whatever they want to call themselves, are far superior over us, straight people. A lot of abbreviations. I'm too old for this. I'm not going to change for you. How I was brought up, like I said before, many years ago, I had my brother-in-law was gay. Loved him dearly. I couldn't care less what his choice as far as his life was concerned. That's his choice. But I loved him as my brother-in-law. That's it. Nothing more. And he knew that. And then he played a joke on me a few times and take me to a bar. There was a gay bar, and he played it as a joke. He thought it was funny. I dealt with it. I wasn't mad at him. I thought, you son of a gun, you set me up. But because he knew that he was just kidding around, and he knew because he was there, even there to protect me from right. But it was funny. Now, if a person did that to me, if say if I did it to somebody else in a similar type of nightclub that way, I would get a tongue lashing. I would get absolute heck for it. In fact, they would probably make a big deal about it and end up on TV. Oh, he did this. Oh, dare he do this? Oh, and then next thing you know, it's news media across the world. They find that more important than anything else. Yeah, yes, he was Catholic, is Catholic, or but he has his religious beliefs, and that's what he's following. He's following what God's word is. Right? And that's how it works. The thing is, again, like I said before, folks, there are people out there that have these. I mean, I had a board meeting today. I was at a board meeting, and I was like, oh my God, there's like 20 people in the room. I was asked to be part of a board meeting to observe what they're talking about. It's all to do with mainstream media. So I was in the board, listening, watching them from the far, and on their name, like you'll see the name of the person on it's on what do you call it? I don't use it very often. Oh, what do they call it? That's why I don't remember what it's called. Zoom. Okay, I don't do Zoom. I've tried to use it, but I never did think about it. But anyways, I was invited to Zoom. This was today. I had 3 board meetings. So the third one was all to do with mainstream media. So I was sitting there watching it, and on the list of everybody's name, you see the title down below, the person's name, first and last name. Some guys will say he, him, and her. Girls will say she, whatever have you. Da, da, da. Me, I put in, this is me, Derrick Whiteskycloud, elder, older, old man. And I got their attention. Elder, older, old man. And one of them commented, said, you can't use that word man. And I said, who are you to tell me what to do? And then she turned off her little screen and left the room. I'm not changing, not for her, but because I would put the word man in there. She hated it. That's telling me that I was disrespecting her. Well, that's your visual, not mine. I know who I am. Do you know who you are? You don't know who you are. So that's why, it's just, if you don't like it, leave the room. If you don't have to even look at me. Turn off my screen. Whatever you want to do. I couldn't care less. I was there to watch what you guys are doing. But they were supporting more of the LGBTQ, and they were focusing on that than they were community. They were focusing on just that than health or community or any other things. They were focusing on that. I said, look, guys, you guys are getting boring here. Why are you kicking the can so flat, and even you want to keep on kicking it to the point that it's completely flat? What do you expect anything out of this? Well, we don't want people to. No. I said, you know what? The more you talk about it, the more you're making yourself worse. Let it go. Leave it alone. It will go away, and so will they. It will go off into a distance like a fad, like it has always been. My dad always used to say, you create something in the beginning, whether it's fashion or something else, it becomes a fad for a while, maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, and it'll fade away and it'll be forgotten. That's exactly what's going to happen. It'll be forgotten. Then someone will say, oh, you remember that time we talked about this and this and this? Yeah, you've been forgotten. Right now, everyone's focusing on one particular program. One word. It's called survival. And the other word is freedom. How are we going to survive and how we get our freedom? Well, you put those two words together. Survive your freedom. How do you survive your freedom? Well, number one, plenty of cash on your person. Like wherever you hide it away, I couldn't care less. But don't keep it in your bank. Why do you think they're going to do the smart city thing? Because they're going to control your bank account. They're warning people ahead of time by the beginning of May, the month of May 2023, the banks own your money. So if you want all that money in there, and I always tell people this, if you put money in there, you're there to put it in there to pay a bill, nothing more. Okay? You put it there to pay a bill. But if the money's in there, all extra cash that you're all ever need it, I'll just go use my debit card. No. Your banks are going to take it out. They're going to do that. This is all planned. This is WEF. This is all WEF. All Smart City and WEF are all the same. They're all the same people. We already have a smart city being built as I speak, and it's actually being built around City Hall. They already had the plans out. I've seen the plans. I've seen the photographs. I've seen everything. They've already started it. They've already started putting partitions and barriers. They're actually putting up long gates along the bridges that you cross over, and they're putting concrete walls on the side so they can close you off, that you cannot enter. Large metal gates that you can't cross unless you got permits. They're going to have like not a military guard, but a security guards at the gate. We're looking at East West Germany all over again. But they're doing it to make sure that you don't have your freedom. Why are they doing this? Why they want us not to have our freedom? Because they want to control you. This is the beginning of the Third World War that HITLER did during the Second World War. In other countries, in Poland, did it in England. He did it in other European countries. He even tried to do it in France. He created the same thing. When Trudeau said that we are a bunch of bunch of racists and misogynists, he's actually quoting from HITLER, because that is, and he said he was his hero. Did you get it now? Okay. That is his hero. Why is Hitler, his hero. Well, his wife is his granddaughter. Okay, not Trudeau's. It's his granddaughter. So you'll understand more. This is bigger than you think. They're going to try and shut down all the reservations again. They're going to block them all off, barricade them to the point where there's going to be gates that you all have to have passports again. But they want. I mean, this is bigger than you think, guys. And I want to tell you this ahead of time. Like, this is going to start in May. That's what I'm saying. Between May and November, this is the most important part of our lives that we have to say no more. The WEF, the World Economic Forum, or the summit, has no grounds whatsoever to control us. They don't have the right to tell us that we don't have permission to breathe unless they said so. Because that's what they are. They're a World Health Organization. Okay? They're controlling us, whether we can breathe, sleep, earn, eat, you name it, they control it. That's what they want to do. And you're letting them. You're letting them. If you sit there and not do nothing, you're not getting nothing done. You have to stand up and say no. You have to go out there and let other family and friends. I don't care if those friends and family don't want to believe you. It's really happening. When they introduced the word smart city, is not so freaking smart. It's not. It is corrupt. In England right now, a lot of people can't even get food because they've already started the smart city there. A lot of people are not allowed to communicate with us from England because the smart city has already started. Their internet service is only allowed to be on a certain amount of hours. And also electricity. They turn the power off. You're not allowed to burn firewood to keep warm. No longer use fireplaces. Not even propane or even natural gas. How are you going to survive? All they want you to do is use electricity only. And so if you use too much power that comes through the smart meters, why do you think the smart meters are made? Smart, and there's too extra power. They want to know where that power is coming from. What were you doing? Why is there extra feed of power coming through? You're not allowed to do that. You're allowed to X amount of voltage coming through your house. Why do you think that's what they're doing? This is the World Economic Forum and Summit. I'm not bullshitting you guys. This is all based on everything. They want to control everything you do. Eat, sleep, crap, you name it. Okay. Even China went as far as let's put it this way. China went as far to thinking there was actually COV in your feces. They were going into the center itself to see if they can track it there. If there was anything, guess what? No shit. Nothing happened. They had no proof. They tried. Charlie Ward. What does Charlie Ward say? Charlie Ward is so rich, he doesn't care. He's got all this food. He doesn't care. He lets you know ahead of time what's going on. You know, Charlie Ward. That's Charlie Ward. He's from England. Okay? Charlie Ward is, I mean, he's going to tell you what's going on. Yes. But it's all, Charlie Ward's a mouthpiece. Okay? He's told what to say. He makes his money in the gold standard. He makes his money in like, basically, I tell people this: try to invest. If you want to invest in money to make sure you're financially stable, is invest in gold and silver. Okay, invest in it. That is your true dollar. It is. Gold and silver is your true dollar. Invest in that. It's worth your while. Because it will surpass all paper money. It will surpass all digital currency. Okay, because right now they've been trying to use other types of digital currency to say, oh, this is going to be really good and you need to buy this. Well, guess what? There's one particular currency that China was using for the longest time, and that particular currency now has gone downhill and it's collapsing so horribly because it was used specifically for buying and selling children. Okay. Um, no, and Simon Parks has not been on for quite a while because he's been busy helping out President Trump. He's ex-military, and he's very well known in his work. A lady friend of mine knows him very well up in Nevada. He's a nice guy, super nice guy. I mean, he was most of Simon Parker's work was all based on extraterrestrial stuff, UFOs. So yeah, silver is 38.70 as of last week. I'd get it. I mean, that's cheap because silver is going higher and higher as it'll peak itself so big. Gold and silver is going to be the biggest industry. I mean, silver actually, if you guys think about this, back in the 1750s or even higher or even older, silver was worth more money than gold. Okay, silver was worth way more money than gold. And then what happened was the king and the queen, okay, the kings and queens of whatever kingdom at the time, changed all that and say, well, we want to get into more gold. Let's try the gold part of it. Let's go gold and just not as much silver. If you remember, think about it, folks, because during the times of the pirates, what did they always say? 10 pieces of silver. Right? 10 pieces of silver. Never talk about 10 pieces of gold. Silver. Why do you think is Long John Silver? Because it was silver that they were trying to chase, because the money had more value than gold. Why do you think they made silver mugs and jugs and plates and dishes? Because it had more value for rich people. It was worth a lot of money. Silver was not just used because you're making a commodity, something to drink and eat off of. Silver was used for anything they can use. Silver was worn for jewelry. It was worn as part of the plates for soldiers, military. Silver was used also for knights that were in during the time of the night period. I mean, it had so many uses. And also, oh yes, Catherine, you're right. In the chat room, thank you guys. I want to acknowledge everybody here in the YouTube chat room, as well as the Facebook chat room, and those are coming in late. Thank you for joining us, guys. Yes, Catherine, silver is vital for your health due to the healing and antibacterial properties, and the use is for silver for far more valuable. They make colloidal silver and they spray that into a spray in your face to heal, like silver. Now, if you got swollen eyes or skin conditions, that's what silver is for. It has so many healing capabilities. You explain that to people, and I'm sure I'm going to get a strike from YouTube. They say, you can't say that, but guess what? I did. I didn't say other things, but I said it's been used for many other things, right? So we have so many uses for many things. Anyways, I just want to bring that up because I want you guys to know ahead of time, and we're not collapsing. We're not going to lose anything, but I want you to prepare yourself. I mean, if you guys ever watch Chris Guy, and here's another second strike because YouTube hates him too. Chris Guy does his research. Some people say, oh, he's a plant. He's this and he's that. Chris Guy is looking for you guys. He's trying to save your asses out there. If you don't want to do the research, that's what he does. He likes to look just like you do and I do. I mean, there's things that he said that he's found. There are things that I found that Chris Guy did not find. Okay. If you do your research, like when I said before, folks, when last year, when the truckers convoy were out there protesting and fighting for your freedom. They weren't out there fighting for racism. They were fighting for your freedom. That was the mainstream media that created racism because Trudeau told them that. They came out there for one reason, and that is to stand up for their rights and have our freedom, so we don't have to be back in our houses again and stuck inside of our houses and not have no freedom at all whatsoever. That's what the whole thing was about, right? They were there for a reason, but yet there was always, when Trudeau called for this treasonous idea that we were bad guys, that those protesters were bad people, then he decided to use this little cliche of calling it a war. And he was actually accusing all of the bouncy castled children as terrorists of Canada. He did. He called the children of the families terrorists of Canada, that they were little trained terrorists on bouncy castles. Okay? So those people were down. I mean, the kids participated. They're part of it. They're not stupid. They know better. They want their freedom just as much as anybody else. Sure, you grabbed a few people and throw them in jail, see if they could put a scare in you, but they couldn't take you all because you guys overwhelmed them. The mainstream media had only used about 50, 60 people in their film. Okay? Think about it, guys. They only used about 50, 60 people in the scene for the mainstream media. But do you really know how many people really were down there in Ottawa at the time? At that time last year? Thousands. Thousands were down there. Okay? Thousands were down there. But only the mainstream media, CBC, was only allowed to do the small groups, or they would wait till everybody left to take a break, like, go wash and whatever have you, and they would just use that little group of people over. Oh, there's a few people that are disgruntled in their own. Don't forget, guys, CBC. Okay, the Chinese Broadcasting Corporation. The communist, whatever they want to call themselves, CBC, Communist Broadcasting Corporation, whatever they want to call themselves. They're told to lie to you. I work in the media, but I'm not going to lie. Right? I'm not going to lie. And sending someone the search room. So this is how it works. We need to learn now to say no more. I was part of an organization a few years before this whole thing started, back in the mid 2000s, and we had a group called Idle No More. We're standing up for the rights of Indigenous people and women and children, and I was one of the people that was helped create that in the Langley region, Langley, Surrey region. We created this Idle No More. And when we put it together, there were some, we had the mainstream media show up there, and they were saying, oh, it's just a couple of angry people, maybe about 20. There wasn't 20. There was hundreds of us that were there. But they only took a video of the people, some of them actually that stayed behind, that didn't walk through the malls and show that we are standing up for our rights. They didn't show the group of people that were walking down the streets that were saying enough is enough. They didn't do that. They only looked for a little distribution of people that with a couple of signs to say, oh, it's only a couple of people showed up. That's what the mainstream media are told to do, not to try and make an effort of journalism, but to weaken the approach to the public that we have no reason whatsoever to protest. And then the government officials will come in there and say, see, we just knew there was a couple of unwelcome people, so we're not going to bother with that. We'll let that go. Or, well, we'll talk about having them arrested because they did this and they did that. Think about it, guys. Before you believe everything you see in the news, okay, it's called mainstream media. Not mainstream, mainstream. Because we're the one that are screaming for our rights. I use that name, mainstream, SCREAM. We are mainstreaming. We're yelling for our freedom. We're screaming for support from people like you out there. And they themselves, the media, will show up and they're trying to defunct our situation. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that we don't have any power, that we can't stand up for ourselves. That's what this whole thing's about. So I will always stand up for my rights and freedoms. And I have done, I mean, being honest with you guys, if I wish I could have been at those locations to protest and, physically being out there. I wish I had a sign in my hand or a flag to fly. I wish I was, but I can't because my wife has cancer, and I cannot afford to be behind bars and not be there for her. If by some chance anything, because I'm a very vocal person, I will be out there. I'm in their face. Now, mind you, if I'm locally here and I say something to someone, I will stand up for myself, and for my rights and our rights. But you're gonna find the odd police officer that's going to be act like an idiot. And I'm not saying RCMP. I'm talking about any officer. If they want to act like an idiot and think they can know everything, I put a few of them in their place already. I already put another. I put a Surrey police officer in this place. He was going to give me a ticket, and I says, "No, you're not. You never got sworn in. You're not for real. You're fake." I said, you never got sworn in. You got sworn. You never even took your lie detector test yet. You never even passed that. Well, how do you know that? It's because I already know that. Because the RCMP will tell you if you passed it. Everyone has to go through a lie detector test, and if you didn't go through a lie detector test, you can't get sworn in by a mayor. You got to get sworn in by your own by the RCMP. Now, and I asked the man. I said, did you serve with the RCMP before you became an officer? Yes, I did. Well, then why did you step down from your position? Well, that's none of your business. Oh, I said, so you did something wrong. Makes sense. He screwed up. He never got, he had probably 3 strikes you're out. So he decided to become wanting to become a Surrey City Police. Figured he could do the same thing. No, ain't gonna happen. Those are called rejects. The ones that can't do their job right. Why would you want to hire a reject that actually abuses the law? I caught him in a lie, and he backed off. So the thing is, like I said before, and they're trying so hard, even right now as we speak, they're trying so hard. Okay, the Surrey police are trying so hard to say that, oh, it's a fault of the mayor of the city of Surrey, and then she's this and she's that, and it's going to raise money and taxes even higher. No, the reason why she's raising taxes higher, for one reason, that was not her promise was trying to get the RCMP to stay and to get rid of the city of Surrey police because they were defunct, and she was trying to stop it from happening. But the last mayor somehow financially, I would say, jangled with the city monies without permission on his own, passed a bill, money went out the door. Now she's got to fix it. And the only way they can fix it actually is to have to raise tax just to get the RCMP back in the contract and get rid of the Surrey police. That's what this whole thing's about. But nobody wanted to see that part. And they're blaming her, that it's her fault. Brenda Locke did not make that mistake. It was actually the fault of the previous mayor. And this is what happens, folks. Whenever you same with Kim Campbell when she became prime minister years ago. Okay, she started off being a prime minister, and everybody thought she was going to go do a great job. But because she was a woman, the men attacked her and went after her big time. Said that she had no right to be there as a prime minister. They said a woman can't do the job like a man can. That was actually what the cabinet ministers had said, that a woman cannot do the job better than a man. So she wasn't even in government no longer in 6 months, and they got rid of her very fast because they made up shit, and I will say that word. They made up so much lies and shit about some of the programs that she was supposed to fix. Well, number one, it was the fault of the previous prime minister that made those mistakes. He dropped it in her lap and saying it was her fault. Oh no, it's not my fault. It's her fault because she got elected in. So he gave her all the garbage that he made, all the mistakes he made, and they dropped it on her, which forced her to leave because there's no way, too much pressure on her, and they kept attacking her and attacking her and attacking her. Plus, she refused She refused to become a Mason. She refused to become a follower of child pedophile. She refused to become part of the cabal. She wouldn't go that way. She was a very Christian woman. So she walked. And there are many other women and as well as men that were part of the cabinet in Ottawa that were once in there electively, and a lot of them stepped down because they refused to be part of the cabal, the bad guys. You know, whenever you know you can actually put them to shame and knowing that you're in your truth, the deep state, what we call Trudeau, is to try so hard to try and ruin your reputation. They'll try to find anything they can on a family member. You know, they're not going to pick on you. They're going to go look for a family member. Oh, that family member did this, and the family member did that, and though that person should not be a prime minister, or that person should not be a minister because if one of their relatives did this. You pretty well have to have a very clean family that doesn't make mistakes. Really. And what do you got to do? You got to go and approach that family member saying, don't do this, don't drink too much, don't do drugs, because then you ruin my reputation. Now you can do all the drugs you want because you can have all as much of cocaine you want, blah, 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 blah. You know, they made the story so big to the point now they're allowing a whole bunch of pot shops in Surrey, which we don't need. We got pot shops everywhere. But they want to add more. Like the last mayor we had did not want no pot shops in Surrey. Now this other mayor is allowing pot shops in Surrey everywhere. Please understand, folks, those pot shops that you're going to see in Surrey are not healthy because the federal government grows those crops. The federal government grows those crops. Think about it. What's in it? That's why do you think the government said, okay, let's do it, but you'll have to go through us first, and you'll have to buy it from us first. It's the government. Our federal government grows its own pot and sells it to the people here. And then if you want to sell it, what's in it? Not much. See, Gail says here in Nanaimo, they're saying that they have to sell cocaine. Are you kidding me? It used to be known as a party drug, but now it's worse because now they're putting fentanyl in it. Oh, by the way, folks, another word of warning. Someone actually sent me a message, whether it's true or not. There are people now playing the fentanyl game. They're actually taking some cloth, some material, piece of material, and they're rolling it up and they're putting fentanyl into it, the powder, and they stick it in your doorknob of your vehicle. And if you pull it off, it gets in your skin. So be very careful, folks. If you see that on your door, whether it's on your door of your house or on your door of your car, don't go near it. Call the nearest police officer to remove it for you. Call the drug force because that is what you don't want to touch. Okay, it can do some major damage to you. So that's what I was told. Okay. As I spoke about this earlier, those are coming in last. The BC is the last of the provinces that actually are forcing people to still wear masks inside the hospitals and the clinics, and they're also actually have threatened people's lives, saying they're going to arrest them if they didn't. Basically, if you didn't follow their rules. Well, number one, folks, there is no law. There's no, number one, the word mandatory is not a law. It is submission, that you're giving them permission. And they say, well, it's mandatory. No, it's not. It's not a law whatsoever. Okay. So the BC hospital clinics, people still threatened of arrest and if they refuse to wear masks. Why is BC the only province left to still follow the 2020 agenda? They are the lowest of oh yeah, also too our province too in Canada has lesser doctors and nurses because these doctors and nurses are smart. The ones that don't have work, they're the ones that refuse to be snake bitten. So they're not asking them back. So now they're starting to build. I hope they do. Is the clinics that are snake bitten free. They're talking about nurses and doctors to do this, so they're working on that now as we speak, and the Canadian government can't do nothing about it. Bonnie says, I just got terminated from work for not taking the snake bite just now because they can't do that to you, Bonnie. You can, okay, here's what you do. There is actually a website. Where's my page in here? You can actually take a letter, download the PDF, and you can actually have the you take that letter to them, you drop it on their front desk. Did you give them the letter? Right? That they're going to be charged? Because you can sue the company and it'll force the company to actually collapse. That's what you can do. I don't have all. If you need to give Bonnie, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Freedom for Canada. I think it's called Freedom for Canada, and there's actually a PDF file you can actually download. And there's a website. You can always give me a text, and I'll send it to you. I'll send you the page. You go down, you download the PDF, and that is a document. It is a legal document that you put the name of the company on there that you're going to do legal action by having to sue them for what they had illegally done. They cannot force you to do the snake bites. Okay, they can't. It's illegal, and you have to write down the words. It's against the Canadian Charter Rights and Freedoms, the Geneva Convention 2.0, also the okay, what else here? Yeah, Geneva Convention 2.0, and the Nuremberg Code 2, or sorry, Geneva Convention and Nuremberg Code 2.0. Let them know that these are international laws and they are real laws. If this company carries on what they're doing and telling people they can't have a job because of that, then they themselves are going to be arrested. The military will come to their business. They will arrive. Okay, Trump's people don't play no games. They will come down. The military will arrive at their business, and that person or persons or owner, whoever it is that told you this, they're going to go bye-bye. Okay? I'm not kidding you. Action for Canada. Thank you very much, Joanne. That's who it is. Action for Canada. And Stand United, I have the forms too. So, yeah, Joanne, if you want to send that, if you can send that to Bonnie, be great. Get Bonnie to fill it out. Be worth your while, because this is going to save and protect yourself as a person. They have no right to get rid of you unless you did something wrong. They didn't do anything wrong, so they're telling you that you have to do this. No, it's totally entirely illegal, and it is illegal. So they can't force you to put something into your arm, which is it's against the law. It is a law. It's international law. Okay, survey in Canada in schools. Oh yeah. How do you say this part? There was a lady who actually came to the school and she was standing up for her rights. She walked into the Surrey School Board, the DDSB, and she was cyber attacked and bullied, and her name was Lisa Stone. And they turned on, as she was trying to stand up for her rights as a person, they turned off her mic. And so this is going to be interesting. The parents now are fighting for the rights of their children. Here's my thoughts, folks. If you don't feel comfortable for your kids to go to school, don't take them to school. If they're going to tell the kids they have to be snake bitten, take them home and find another school to go to, private school, whichever you want, or school them yourselves. Because the more here's one thing that one guy said. Kevin J. Johnson said this: the more kids that leave school, the lesser the jobs of the school teachers and the school board exists, because the school board makes hundreds of thousands of dollars on forcing children to do ridiculous things. It's not an education anymore. This is more like a thumbing down on the person, telling them they're not worth shit. Okay. And the thing is that the more kids that come out of the school, it forces the schools to close. which basically gives kids more freedom to educate properly. Okay, it is true. And you can find other means of education that would do far better. There's more education online than there is actually in the school now, because they're really, really trying so hard to push child pedophilia. They're trying to push, in fact, yes, Kevin J. Johnson, they're trying to push pedophiling children now. In fact, they're bringing in drag queens to the schools. Here in Canada, here in BC, there's drag queens coming into the schools, and they are actually stripping. They're dance stripping on in the gym or in the class in front of the kids, and they're making it normal. And they're stripping right down to the nakedness, and the person is actually like implants up above and the male form. These are surgically done people. These are baddies. Okay, this is not like, I've spoken to some people that actually are real fantastic. How do you say this? There's guys that I know address as women, but these guys, they don't support what they do. They don't support these other guys that come in there and they're doing the porn thing to the children. Those guys are pedophiles. Okay, this has nothing to do with it. You got your different varieties of gay and lesbian community. They don't support any of this stuff, none at all. They don't think this is they don't think this is right at all. But they're stuck too. They don't know what to say. They're trying to say something, and even the media is telling them, you don't. You're talking about. Shut up. So I feel bad for everybody. It's getting to the point of craziness, right? Let's see. Catherine says C equals certification. O equals of V. I identification. 19 means artificial intelligence. Yes, it is. Also, too, the word vaccination, the vaca means cow in Latin, and cination means lining up of cows. So, prediction: winter's rising. Oh yes, water's rising. That's going to happen still. We talked about the Coots border. There has been a fellow who wrote a letter to some people, asking to share what's going on. Guys in prison, they have been not well taken care of at all. It's getting pretty bad in there. They're still in prison, by the way, with a fake charge of firearms, holding firearms. And these firearms, folks, are not your typical firearms you'd find in Canada ever. And the police, these corrupt police officers, put illegal firearms in their vehicles, which there's no way you these are firearms that never should have existed. Okay. And this is up in Coots. This happened during the protests in Coots at the time, last year and a half ago. And those guys are still in jail. They haven't been released at all or gone to court yet. Okay, World Economic Forum, the food and agriculture. Okay, I want to talk about this. We have a problem. It's called Walmart. It's called Sobeys, or any other corporation that is supporting the idea of smart city. They were given money by Bill Gates, his foundation, extra money to install glass, complete contained glass all the way around, all along the walls, to contain all items that relates to food. They're all contained behind refrigerated or closed in glass. They have already started it. It's in Ontario. It's in Edmonton. It's actually here in Surrey now, Kamloops and other locations, mostly in BC. Walmarts have actually already started it. They already got their glass walls up there. They're keeping all the foods to the wall, and they're all contained. So they're making sure you don't get food. If you notice, folks, lately there actually are more entrance barricades that automatically open or close, but there'll be a time that they'll be setting up a little meter in there, and you would not be able to enter the store unless you use your pass card. Okay, that includes in Superstore. And Walmarts and a few others, you'll start seeing that more often, whether organic stores or not. The fact is, they become part of the corporation. They're going to try to keep you from actually getting your food access to your food unless you are all snake bitten by every means. They also want to control you and tell you what you're allowed to have, what you're not allowed to have, and that again, it's all part of the carbon belief system. Okay, carbon belief systems is all based on even your breathing. Okay, how much air are you in, how much oxygen are you bringing in, how much you are bringing in and breathing out. That's why they call it 15-minute city. You walk 15 minutes to a store, and then you got to return back home. By that, you're not allowed to have a vehicle. Okay, and you have to walk home with all your groceries. So if you buy more than you're supposed to, and you're not allowed to carry plastic paper bag or any other kind of or convenient bags. It has to be paper. Again, they're making it really hard on you. They want to make it where you actually lose control, that you're willing to give in to them. Okay, they want you to give in to the government. They are not in government. They want you to give in to the corrupt corporation. Okay, now people are saying right now, well, how come Trump's not doing it about this? How come Trump's not stepping in on this? He's not, because he wants you to see what really is going on. You need to experience the actual shit that would have happened if he wasn't president, because you would have all been in the worse situation than this. You would be right now in internment camps. Anybody who's unvaxxed will be in internment camps. You'll be locked up, never released. Okay. Would like to know how they are going to police these cities. Okay. That's the thing. They can't. They're going to try. Do you remember that movie V? Okay. Remember that movie V where the guy was wearing the mask? That's that happy face mask. Remember? It's based on that movie. Very similar to that movie. Watch carefully. You'll see what I'm talking about. This movie itself will be like this. It's going to change. It's going to people. Let's put it this way: Canada has not even protested yet. Canada has not come up by the millions yet. Every other country has. Okay. France, Germany, other countries have come out by the millions to protest, and even Australia and New Zealand have all come out by the millions and protested, and they've actually went after the government. They went after right to the park, to their buildings, and they actually pretty well almost burnt down the place to get rid of the government officials. And they had it, yes, V for Vendetta, and they stopped it. Okay, they stopped the bullshit, and actually right now there are farmers are fighting for your rights everywhere. And there are farmers either in Poland, in other countries, are trying to, they come into town riding their tractors, protesting, saying to the government that you can't do that they have no right to tell the farmers that they cannot sell the food. They're not allowed to sell the food to the people. The food has to be sold to the government. The government tells you what you're allowed to have, allowed to consume. They want to shut down all the farmers here in Canada and tell you what you're allowed to eat, what you're not allowed to eat. And they're trying to get the farmers to not sell to you. There's not going to be any more farmers markets. Okay? The government's going to control the farmers markets. They're going to tell you, no, you can't do that now. You have to go through us first. And then they're going to say, oh, you can only have 2 breads, or you're allowed to have 1 bread this week. Oh, you're only allowed to have 1 butter, maybe half a pound. You're only allowed to have a little bit of sugar, but not too much. Okay? This is a repeat of 1940s Second World War. There's a sign where they made it in Canada. It was illegal to have extra food. It was illegal to hide your food. And if any government official found you with extra food hidden away, you go to jail. Okay. I've seen the old posters. If you hang on to your food and hide it, you go to jail. And this is what your government here in Canada is going to do. The same thing. It's going to repeat itself again. This is a repeat, guys. It's a repeat from the Second World War. It's a repeat from Hitler. They're doing the same thing again. Why do you think hoarding happened? Why do you think people hoarded for years? Hoarding never happened until after the Second World War. Why? The next generation needed to they would get things and take things and hide things. Well, maybe one day I'll need this, one day I'll need this, one day I'll need this. Because they were always so poor that they hardly had a thing in their home that they've always wanted to have for themselves they always want to have something themselves personally that they say that they work for, or just in case I may need it. People hoarded because they were afraid not to have anything. They're afraid to be poor. So the house just started consuming. It became almost like a disease. They're taking things and bringing things and hiding in their house, and you'll see. I got friends everywhere. Some people that were, my wife said she calls me a hoarder, but I'm not a hoarder. I save things I know very well it's going to benefit me in the future, but not hoarding. Hoarding means you keep on packing things, stacking things in your house that you barely have an aisle walking through it, and you would smell. That's hoarding. And you watch so many hoarding shows, but these are people that are older, my age or even more, because they didn't have what they once had when they were kids. So to them, that's their little world, making it feel like they had everything. And this is what our government's doing. Our government's trying to take all that away from you, that you cannot have anything. Why do you think they said the Agenda 2030, that they're going to take it all away from you and you don't own nothing, not even clothes on your back? And they're saying you'll be happy. No, you will not. And that is the German Reich, the Fourth Reich way. That's what they wanted to do, is follow the German Fourth Reich. That way, that we own you and you are our slave and you can't do nothing about it. That was their goal. And that's what they're trying to do. Klaus Schwab is part of Hitler's people. He actually was with them at the time during the Second World War. He was a very bad guy. So was George Soros. They're all related to each other. So, and it's a continuation, folks. This is just a continuation of the Second World War, which is called the Fourth Reich. This is what we're all going through. This is an agenda of their own. Try to scare you. Now, I'm just sharing with you all this information, what's going on here. But I know in my heart that I'm free. I know in my heart that I can say what I want. I know in my heart who I am as a person. I know what I want to say, and I will always say, and I'll always stand up for my rights, and I'll stand up for my people. I'll stand up for all of you folks out there. I love you guys, and there's no way I'm going to allow anyone to harm you guys. None. I was born to deal with to having to work against injustice. I was that way all my life. I've been fighting for people for a long time. I don't care if I never met you. The fact is, no one has that right to die in fear. No one has the right to lose their lives because some jerk thinks he's going to be far more powerful than you. They don't. They think they know everything and they don't know nothing. But all this is really, these corporations, is all it basic is under a satanic, and they don't care. That's their agenda. It's under a satanic organization, which is part of, whatever their roles are. They all have roles. Everyone has a role to play, but it's under a specific agenda based under a biblical time, and we were part of it. Yeah, Scott says you will own nothing and be happy. Klaus Schwab said this in Davos in 2022. Yeah. So I am here for one thing and one thing only, and that is to let you guys know what's going on in this world and to be ready for this. Stand up for your rights and freedoms. Fight for your neighbor, whether you don't get along or not. Fight for your neighbor. Your neighbor doesn't know what's going on at the time, and you're going to know somebody that I'm sure there's going to be members of your family that don't want to believe anything you say right now. I'm sure they're in the still old school that, oh no, you know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Oh, I saw it on TV. They're not going to lie to us. You see that every day. Every day. Scott Hare knows. He has his own show. Okay, Scott's in the chat room. He knows. You see that every day. And there's always going to be somebody who's going to try to call you down. Oh, you don't know nothing. And they'll say, and their words are, prove it, prove it, prove it. I have proven it. I have proven it many times over. And to them, oh, well, how do you know? That could be, anybody could have done that. No matter what you say or do, they're going to call you down on it no matter what. That's just the way it works. They're not going to trust anything you do or say. So if they don't want to hear it, guess what? They're going to be the lost calf or the lost lamb, and they're going to say, how come you didn't tell me? Oh, I didn't know. I did tell you. You didn't listen. But these people are meant not to probably not see the truth, or they don't want to see the truth. Now, I want to give praise to this mayor. I don't know what his name is. Well, yeah, Mayor Craig Schubert. Now, I'm not sure what city or town, but I think it's in the U.S. because Scott may know. But he walked into the city town meeting, whatever it was. He walked right in, like as if everybody was very quiet about it. And I thought, oh shit, something's gonna happen. It was a school board. And he walked into the school. He stood in front of all of the directors there, and he says he's demanding their resignation for promoting child porn in the schools. He said he spoke to the judge the night before, and the judge confirmed the order of their arrests. So he gave them an option. You get rid of those books, stop promoting porn, child's porn, or you're all getting arrested and go to jail. The mayor went to the judge and ordered their arrests. A school board. Same thing. We need this here in Canada. We need our mayors to do the same thing. To go to the school boards and to stop this from happening. And for them to step down and to resign. Because they're promoting child porn. That's what they're doing. And that's got to stop. Our mayors, and I hope other mayors get on board in the U.S. and across the world, do the same thing. Go to the school boards and say, step down, or your judges or whomever you're working with are going to be charged. Scott Harris says, was Hudson in Ohio in 2021? A couple years back? Really? Okay. Canada, our mayors like Jody Jondick of Calgary, Alberta, are making it illegal to protest peacefully outside drag shows, story times in libraries, Um, yeah, this isn't there. The drag queens do strip completely naked in front of the mothers as well as the children um, in the libraries, and as now they're working on the schools. So this is a mayor like Jody Gondek of Calgary, Alberta, are making it illegal to protest peacefully outside the building where the drag queens are coming in and stripping. That's got to stop. This is not a drag show where you dance and da 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 da. This is a strip joint, and it's in libraries. They're making it a normal thing. This is Calgary, guys, in Canada. It's got to stop. Enough is enough. It's getting to be really, really crazy. I mean, I know I have a really good friend, and her son plays a role of a drag queen, but that's not what he does. He doesn't play that role of taking his clothes off, and he's a good kid. That's not right. So he's a good kid. I mean, he does fantastic entertainment as a drag queen, but let it be that way. But you don't. I don't know. Like I said, it goes too far. Let's see here. Now again, repeat, guys. Smart cities. It's actually an ongoing thing right now. Smart cities is actually been spoken about for quite a long time. Smart cities mean surveying, monitoring, analysis, reporting, technology. This is what this whole thing's about. They want to see how far you can or will not do what you do, and they want to control it. Let's see. Yeah, pastor got hit from people at the dry queen for small children. Yeah, it's getting crazier and crazier. And like I said before, folks, this is turning itself to a fad that they call it normality, and it's eventually got to stop. Um, Basically, every resident will be given a tracking system following every movement you do each day. This is what they want to do. They want to find out what you do, how often you hiccup, how many times you fart, you name it, all that on top of that. So, and that's carbon. Good carbon. Yeah. My wife says that's healthy. If you fart in front of your husband and he smells it, it's called healthy. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. One more thing. Scott, if you've got anything you want to share with our listeners, I would look forward to have you call in, sir. 360-566-2875. If you want to call in and share any extra information I don't know yet on your side of the world, would love to hear from you. So if you're in the chat room, my friend, that's 360-566-2875 for Scott to call in. Let us know what's going on in the U.S. side. What do you hear, have seen lately? Oh, by the way, we have they're actually picking on the shaman, the young guy who actually wear the bull horns, and he was all dressed up and went into the White House. And they've proven that he was innocent, but he was already sentenced to 4 years for whatever disruption or whatever it was. They sentenced him to, or I guess to say Biden had him sentenced to 4 years in prison, but they found out there was an investigation that was made, and they found out it was all green screened. So they put pictures of him moving around elsewhere and supposedly doing bad things, and they have him proof now that he was never there. So this has got to be fixed. Things are really coming. See what happens, folks, when you mess with the mainstream media. Oh, by the way, I was trying. If you notice, folks, they were trying to show you folks something. CGI can change. They can change your personality. You can become a human or you can become a robot in automatically on a screen. CGI so easily, and they're showing you this is the things they can do very easily. So you can't always believe everything you see on TV anymore. Anything you see on mainstream media, they can easily change your personality, become somebody else, or say that you were there and you weren't. They can green screen the background, say you're at this location and you weren't. So this is what they've been doing. They've been lying to the public for the last couple of years, and even now they got caught, and they're trying to show you the exposure of this. And I do this on I share this with people on my Telegram page. It's called the True North Strong and Free. If you want to find me, folks, join my page. Join the page, my True North Strong and Free. I do have one in Facebook as well as in Telegram. Preferably, it gets you guys come on Telegram to get way more information. Facebook has been really lecturing me, telling me not to share information because if I do, they're going to put me in jail permanently. And I don't want to lose all that. So I can sort of sneak a few things in there to, rustle some feathers. But I like to drop really heavy drop in the Telegram better. If you don't have the Telegram, download the app, folks. It's worth your while. Find me in there, Derrick Whiteskycloud. You'll be surprised what you get. Information regarding what's going on across the world, because you're going to find a lot of truth seekers, people out there truthers telling you the stories. There's so many crazy pages, but you will see other people like-minded, like myself, talking about these certain things. There's not as many. I've noticed there's more American and other European pages in there that other people have shared. We do have a Canadian Freedom page that someone else has created. There's a lot of, there's even a convoy page, Canadian Convoys. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and they'd like to share that with everyone across the world. So if you guys want to find the truth, go to my page on Telegram, find me there. And if I actually had an extra camera, I would drop that into Telegram too. But after this program, what I do is actually, I would, after it's over, then I would just take the recording that I've saved it and drop it into this, to Telegram. So if anybody wants to follow up on it, I would like you guys to share this with other people as much as you can. This whole program every week, every Thursday night, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. So, area code 860.
Hello, Mr. Derrick.
Mr. Scott, how's it going, sir?
Very cold. We're supposed to get some snow.
Oh, you're okay. You're freezing your butt right now where you sit?
Yeah, a little bit. Freezing the butt off. It's been warm down here all summer. Summer. Jesus, it's felt like summer. Winter. And yeah, so we're not exactly used to this. Right,
well, there's yeah. Well, actually, that's, what is that? Your HARRP? Probably messing with the weather.
Yeah. Yes. I don't. They're very, very light to think it's that. I mean, if we got a complete blasting of snow, I'd say, oh yeah, something's going on here. They're trying to play with us. But they've been light so far. Haven't really blockbuster storms. So I don't know. It's one where we really don't know yet. Turkey. Now I can tell you the Turkey earthquakes I do know was that.
Yes. Definitely.
Yes. Because there was we were told by someone who was on the show, Dr. Brooks Agnew, that a certain U.S. warship was equipped, or a certain U.S. ship was equipped in the I forget what it was, I believe it was the Bay of Turkey, with one of these things. And there are some videos that are floating out there of, I guess, a very, very large flash just before the earthquakes happen.
Ouch. Really?
So, yeah. So, that's something your listeners and the viewers can possibly go look up. And it's in our archives, too, with the interview with Dr. Brooks Agnew. So, yeah, there's that's something that, they're definitely ramping things up. I think they are losing control a little bit, especially with some of the things that have happened in the United States over the past week.
Yeah.
And, of course, with the January 6th stuff starting to come out, the stuff Tucker Carlson has released, and apparently there's going to be more. And apparently Kevin McCarthy will be releasing all of the video to the public. This is, I just actually read this just previously. I was doing some work for the show.
Yeah.
And apparently that is a headline that I saw, as he does plan to release all of it, hopefully, to the public, hopefully sometime soon. So that's a good thing, because there's a lot of things that already have been talked about, including, you talked about a little bit, the QAnon shaman, who was seen on video being escorted by Capitol Police.
Yeah, right through the room.
Actually walking in front of him.
Yeah.
Trying to get him through doors. Those doors were locked. And you could see him gesturing like, "Hey, let's go over to this door."
And I'll tell you, folks, a reason why. I'll tell you why they let him in, because he is military. He actually was in the military. He served.
Yes,
that's why they let him in, or else he never would have got in.
Correct. He was actually U.S. Navy.
Yep.
And there's actually video of him on the floor of the U.S. Senate when he was up. I believe he was up at the dais, where he's praying, thanking the Capitol Police officers for letting him in.
Yep.
So what this will do? His lawyer has already filed a motion to have him released.
Yes.
Because of fabricated evidence. There is another story, there's another case going on right now. I believe it's another case with January 6th defendants, where an FBI agent has been found to be lying on the stand.
Yep.
There were emails that came out that stated that it was either this particular agent or it was somebody else. And they were requesting that their name would make sure to erase their name so they weren't there.
Yes.
So there is some very interesting stuff going on, but the one that is not being talked about, and it's definitely not being talked about enough, and I think this is a deliberate media industrial complex attempt to try to take your eye off one and keep it on the QAnon shaman.
Yeah, is
the story of Officer Brian. How do you say his name? Brian Sicknick.
Sicknick, yeah.
Yeah, Brian Sicknick. If your listeners don't know, his story, or his so-called story, has been told many times, and the narrative has been really pushed. He was a Capitol Police officer who was hit over the head with a fire extinguisher, and he died a day later of his injuries and natural causes. He said he had They said that the video had they showed him with a large gash on his head from blunt force trauma from a fire extinguisher.
Wow.
Tucker also released video that apparently shows Officer Sicknick in the Capitol after the incident was supposed to have happened, looking fine and wearing a riot helmet.
Yes.
Which would go completely against the narrative that he was hit over the head with a fire extinguisher and was bleeding severely and was staggering. He was on the ground.
Yep.
So there is a lot going on within the U.S. Capitol. There is a huge disinformation campaign going on within the media industrial complex right now, led by, I look at it and I laugh, the View's Whoopi Goldberg. Oh God, that woman. She basically said that it should be illegal to release video like this.
What?
Chuck's, yeah, she did.
It's illegal to release the truth. Okay, yeah, right.
No, yeah. Well, she said it should be made illegal. It should be made illegal to release to be able to release video like this. And then she said something, and then she said something about, it's not right for. This was the funny part. I'm paraphrasing, but it's not right for the media. What did she say? It's not right for the media to be able to say whatever they want and say any lies they want. This is coming from her.
Yeah, but Joy Behar said the same shit. She was blaming Trump for the spill in Ohio.
Yep.
Oh, it's his fault.
Yep.
So we'll blame him, and it's not the fault of people that dropped the. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, this is no pun intended. This is, this is.
She was holding on to a black kettle.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Senator Chuck Schumer was on the Senate floor, just absolutely vilifying, Tucker Carlson. They're doing everything they possibly can right now to denounce and defame Tucker Carlson, whatever they can possibly do. Remember, now this is This is the same man who said on the steps of the U.S. Capitol that the Supreme Court justices would absolutely rue the day that they turned over Roe v. Wade in the United States, which was the big court case that dealt with abortion.
Yeah.
And I believe it was a few days later, the two justices that he explicitly said, he explicitly stated, including Justice Kavanaugh, they arrested a person for having a plan to go and actually murder them.
Yes.
So I mean, that right there is against the law. That right there is incitement. Unfortunately, it's not others who say, I want you to go out and I want you to bug I want you to bother every Trump administration member you can. Well, unfortunately, they don't point anybody out. Chuck Schumer pointed somebody out.
Yeah.
So, and there was a target, and then all of a sudden somebody tried to do it. So, again, this is coming from this person, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And they're nervous right now.
Well, if you think about, look at a couple of years back, or not a year and a half ago, remember there was a young lady. Now I know very well she was military. And I remember seeing the stage. I remember watching the film of the stage where, again, they're supposed to be the run in, like, how they were supposed to run in and rush the place. Same where the shaman was.
Right.
And this young lady was in the back of the area. And I remember seeing someone supposedly take a gun and shot it. There was a gun, an arm and a gun, bang. And then there's a picture of her laying on the floor, supposed to be dead or dying. Okay.
Right.
Then I'm watching this and I'm going like, bullshit, 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 bullshit. Because 2 weeks later, I see her in a lineup with her military crew. She was very much alive, but they said that she died.
Well, you're actually talking about Ashley Babbitt.
Yes.
Who was an Air Force. She was a member of the Air Force. And there is
she's very much alive. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I unfortunately I have to contradict that because I have seen the raw video. This came from a person within the Capitol. And it does show Michael Byrd. It does show Lieutenant Michael Byrd actually reaching through and shooting her. Now, within this video that is supposed to come out, whether it does or not, there is a point of view. And maybe this will lead to what you just said, and maybe this will help lead to what you just said, that it was just that it was just totally made up. There is supposed to be a point of view from Michael Byrd's position behind the doors and the barricade that he stuck his arm out of.
Yeah.
And what it supposedly shows is that he never announced himself. He never announced himself. He didn't look panicked. He looked up, he just stood and he shot. And he shot at her.
Yeah, all you see was an arm and a handgun. That's it. No warning.
Right.
Stop. Stop where you are. It was just the gun went
Right.
on. I remember seeing the gun. I remember seeing the hand coming out from a window and a gun, bang. And then the camera would turn to the girl and like a pan in on her with a matter of maybe a minute and a half. And there she's laying on the ground. And then there's supposed to be blood laying next to her, but she's supposed to be laying on the floor. Nobody's around her, and then some people come rushing up to her going, oh, look at her, oh, she's laying there on the ground, and then they're all panicking. And I'm thinking something's not right here, because like my work didn't make any sense. And now, mind you, she may not have been dead at the time. She could have been just wounded, right? And then I got a message from someone I know who is in the higher up and said to me she's very much alive. And they said this has to be they had to convince the FBI that she was shot, because apparently she was there for a reason to expose something, and so they had to reenact a play to make it look like, you remember the old you remember the old movies, you would someone's messing around and then you see a gun come in. It's almost like looking at a movie. A gun comes out from the end, the next thing you know, pow, like crack, and then and you turn around about a minute and a half later, there's a person laying on the ground. Now, how do you know that person really died? Right? All you know is like, oh, well, the shot goes this way, but it didn't look like he shot her. It looked like he shot straight ahead, and she's far back that way. Didn't make any sense. Okay.
Right.
So, I mean, even though you disagree, that's fine. I don't mind, because
Yeah.
all I know is this, that once this really gets exposed to the real story, there has to be a story to the story, because they're trying to get the people to be like, I think they maybe want the black hats to make them think that you know, that they're actually ruling the place, and they're not. They know. So it's like, you know, they got to get you thinking that there's, oh, well, this is happening here. Oh my God, they're really ruthless. No, you know.
Right.
We already know, you know, we already know that Bidan has never been in the White House ever in his life. So, you know, what can I say?
I think he's still trying to look for the keys.
He's still trying to find a way to put his button on the shirt.
Yeah. No, I do. I can't agree with you with, there was a lot of altering done.
Oh, definitely.
With the video. So, I mean, is what we've seen and what other people have told me they have seen, could this act have truly happened, and then somehow they were able to get her out, and they did something to the video? Of course, everything with deep fakes and VR today. I mean, there was a deep fake of good old JB there.
Yeah.
Actually saying that he reinstated the draft, and they found out it was a deep fake. So you could do pretty much anything with technology to make somebody look like
they said that today. I remember seeing that they actually reinstated the draft, and they're drafting women. I saw that one. I saw that one today. They said, and the women are mad. You're not drafting my daughter. You know, like there's a father who's got a 16-year-old daughter. You're not drafting my daughter over my dead body, and I mean it, over my dead body. I'm going like, oh man, I need to share this one. And this is in the U.S., folks. We don't get drafts in Canada.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could look at this in two ways, and you can look at it on the surface. And then like everything we look at, you have to look at it like the Matrix. You got to look through and see the zeros and ones.
Yeah.
And like I call it Neo vision. You got to see the zeros and ones. On the surface, it's pretty funny because for years I had to do it. Everybody I know had to do it. We had to sign what was called, if you guys don't know in Canada, I'm sure you don't. We had to register for what is known as the selective service. Now it's kind of like, it's still the draft, but obviously the draft is not active here in the United States. But you had to sign up for a list to kind of tell them that, hey, I'm here just in case you have to draft me. So that used to be men. That would have to be men ages 18. I believe it was like 18 to, I wanted to say 18 to 34.
Yeah. That
you had to be on this list. And then after 34, you're taken off.
Not here.
Was talk.
Not here. Here, you can volunteer at 16.
Yeah, that's what actually, World War II. I mean, my God, my grandfather, signed up at 17.
Yeah, and a lot of guys stayed in the military until they were like 50-ish.
Yep. So yeah, when it came up, and this even came up during, I believe, Trump's administration, that they were looking at including women. Including young women into the draft. Mm-hmm. Now, remember, this was the point where they were all going, hey, we want fairness, we want equality, we want this, okay, we'll go into the selective service too. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, pump the brake.
Yeah.
No, we want equality, but we don't want to go there. It's like, let them go there. So that's the surface. Mm-hmm. When you come here now to this and they continue talking about it, what is this a distraction for? What is this? What is this to make, like you said, all of those little girls' fathers go off the deep end?
Yeah.
So they don't, what's going on over, like, what, it's like the right hand is saying, women in draft. The left hand is, what is the left hand doing while you're looking at the right hand? And
you're talking to the right hand more than the left hand.
Yeah. And yeah, and I mean, so it's like, what was going on during that time where this was talked about? Now, I have heard nothing about it since. There has been, as far as I know, the last time that it went through a committee, it failed.
Yeah.
So as of right now, women are not included within the selective service.
Did you see that video?
Yeah, well, yeah, I did. I actually saw part of it. And
yeah. And the father was mad. Like he was mad. He was.
Yeah, I saw the Biden video too. And the first thing I said is, he can't talk that well.
Yeah.
Like literally, I think he can't put two words together, let alone that.
Anything I tell people, anything that they decide to say, or to get people all riled up, like you said, and I do believe it, it's a distraction to get the attention, because they're focusing on, there's actually a specific thing that needs to be focused on, and they're not, and the deep state does not want people to know what's really the problem. So they try to distract you and go get you to focus on something else. So they make up some other crap to say, focus on this, and then they won't think about that. And they're thinking Americans are dumb, or thinking Canadians are dumb. We're not dumb. We see shit. We're more aware of what's going on now, more than ever. That's why we have Telegram. That's why we have Rumble, folks, because these places, we have an opportunity to talk about everything. It's not, we don't have, and if like my days when I was young, we never had any of this stuff. We had no idea what was going on in the outside world. All it is that whatever job you had in life, that's what you stuck with. And if anybody tried to create a rumor or put on a radio, you believed it. So, and that's where now today, mainstream media is no longer even legit, because everyone is doing their own stuff. In fact, the public knows more what's going on Instagram or Facebook or wherever they're at. It goes on any social media. These kids out here know way ahead of time before the mainstream media knows. And when the mainstream media does say something about it, they get pissed off. No, that's not right. You're So I said, hey, you guys are not doing your job.
It's very easy to tell. At least probably it's the same there as here in the United States. You can tell when something is real and something's not.
Oh yeah.
Because if the media industrial complex, that's what I started calling them, because I think they're bigger than calling them just mainstream media now, because you have all the social platforms and everything like that.
Oh, I call them I call them mainstream media.
Okay, so yeah, I just call them just like the military industrial complex or the
media. You can't say that.
And but when they go off the deep end, right, like they just did with all the January 6th exposure that's starting to happen. When they start absolutely going on a full 5-point complete fifth gear, hammered down, eastbound and down, and everybody is trying to discredit everything they possibly can about that thing, and they're hyper focused on one thing, they're over a target.
Definitely.
And I think I'm wondering if the most important thing, though, is the thing that they're trying to push everybody away from, and that would be Brian Sicknick.
Yeah.
Why are they not saying, since this Tucker Carlson exposure came out, why have they not focused on Brian Sicknick, and they're putting all of the focus on the QAnon shaman? So that right there tells me there may be more with this Brian Sicknick thing, and maybe that's where our focus should be instead of looking at the QAnon shaman. I really think there's more to that.
I've got a video. I have a video that the QAnon shaman had said 2 years ago. I recorded his video, and I kept it in the file, and I put it on Telegram last night. And everybody's like, "That's him?" I said, "Yeah. These are the things he said." And everybody's like, "I did not know," because they see things, they're only believing what they see. And I keep my stuff. Whatever I see it come up, I hang on to that. And this is where people don't realize. I tell people, please save your videos. Anything you see that you feel is of great interest, keep it as a file, set it aside. Even if it's a Q file, make it to a Q file. I have Q files, but these are important because you're going to need them a year or 2 or 3 down the road, because there's always going to be someone out there who's going to try to discredit someone. Well, wait a minute here. How can they discredit that person when I already have the information here that's true? Here's the proof. You got copies of it. Right. People don't always keep their copies. They just watch it, look at it, and let it go. right?
Yeah, even with Wuhan, even with the Wuhan Q,
Yeah.
as I called it at one point. Uh, this I think I believe I said on the show years ago that at some point it will all of a sudden just come out. Oh, there's a lab leak, no big deal.
Yeah.
And what's happening today? Now it is a big deal. They found out that Fauci was that Don Fauci or Pope or Papa Fauci, as I actually threw a caricature of. I never put it out, but I figured I would get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
But
Dr. Death.
Yeah, they have his emails basically sponsoring a paper, telling one person to write a paper, write this paper denouncing any kind of lab leak.
Yeah.
So so they have him actively working to basically put the blinders on everybody. Think of how many millions of people that he is responsible for their death.
Well, he's the one that started to tell people not to acknowledge the ivermectin.
Yeah. As they called it, the horse drug.
Yeah. They're not supposed to know, and yet we already know what it can do. So
when I got COVID, I used I talked to Ivan, as I like to say, when I'm on these platforms.
Yeah.
I talked to Ivan. You know what? Ivan did me right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like talking to a Hydroxy. He's actually pretty cool too. Helped me a lot.
Oh, H is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
H is a good guy too.
Yeah.
And I had talked to Ivan, and I spent like probably a day and a half with Ivan, and I was fine. I was perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is all starting to come out again. So they have a lot of things. They have a lot of things that are starting to come out to interfere with what here in the United States is, as far as what they're doing, because I have said they need a weak United States. This is the country they need weak because of basically one thing. And I even think, who was it that said it down here? Dan Bongino, I think, put it the right way when he talked about possible evasion angles when it came to China. There's one major thing down here that Canada doesn't have right now, and that's the fact we have 393 million privately owned firearms.
Yeah.
And that's a big, and everybody's going, well, yeah, that's why you have all the gun problems. No, that's also why nobody's trying to invade us right now.
Yeah.
Because the Constitution, that little Second Amendment, Article 5, Section 3, Amendment 2, it's not about us just having firearms. It's not about just someone in America going, look at me, I got a gun. Mm-hmm. It's not that. But
well, look at me, I got bows and arrows.
Yeah, well, hey, bow and arrow, man. There are some cases I want a bow and arrow over a gun.
Those are the silent shots.
But
silence by night.
Yeah, it's got a built-in silencer. You don't need them.
But don't sit on one; they're too sharp.
In the United States, the founding fathers knew, hey, this may happen again. They may have to do something like this again. God forbid, they may have to do it against their own government.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's give them the means to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Second Amendment is about. That's why they want to get rid of it so much. That's why they're trying to suffocate it.
Our Prime Minister wants to make it illegal that we cannot own any firearm, period, in Canada. Well, they want to do the same thing with Australia. Australia actually took all the rights away from the people, I think 10 years ago or so, and now no one's allowed to have any firearms there except the police. They have what they're doing, and the police have the right to shoot you whenever they feel like it. Now I watched one of the guys who calls himself the Aussie Cossack. He was on his front lawn of his own house. The police called him out, like they wanted to come outside, and they started putting beatings on him. One officer pulled out a gun. I told him to stand still. Another officer took a billy club, and actually was one of those metal rods, nailed him in the head, knocked him out cold. And he wasn't raising his arms or nothing. He just nailed him right in the head, knocked him out cold, right in his front lawn. And that's, what does that mean? And they arrested him and they put him behind bars and saying he was that he's a terrorist. So they put him in there in jail for 6 months. He's not a terrorist. He was a guy that was exposing a pedophile that worked for the government. He named the man's name, and that's why he put him in jail, because he named his name.
Oh yeah, and that mayor you were talking about,
Yeah.
Craig Schubert. Yeah, I finally remember what happened to him. They forced him to resign.
Yeah, because and then in fact, Craig Schubert's going to be gone bye soon too.
Yeah,
President Trump's not
to.
going to is not going to cope with any of these people that are going to be pedos, because he said, "Oh, they're all going to jail." Think you're going to be free, buddy? They're going to pick you up right out later on. You think you can resign all you want? They're coming to get you anyways. You're done. You're history.
Yeah. And what you said about Trump before, like why people are saying, why isn't he doing anything? Well, technically he can't. He's a civilian.
Yeah.
So but he pretty much said when he left office, there's nothing I can do right now. You guys. He basically said you have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. He's got to let things play out.
Because we already know that what the Operation Looking Glass told him, so that he had to step back and let it play itself out. He cannot interfere.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't. I also believe, and I said this when everything started to happen, is that he doesn't want a war.
No,
he doesn't want. No, he doesn't want a civil war.
No,
it's the last thing he wants. He doesn't want to see the American people getting hurt. But he knows, and he knew the only way that these. I don't like calling them like crazies or woke people. They're just uninformed. They are completely brainwashed and they're uninformed what's going on.
Well, these are the one, and most of the ones that are woke are actually either working for another organization. In fact, they just ordered. Trump just mentioned it. They ordered all of the Antifa people to be arrested. So
they should.
Yeah, all Antifa people are going to be done, and especially here in Canada, they talked about the people also Antifa in Canada. Actually, one of our ex-premiers, who actually was the leader of Antifa, and she's going to go bye-bye too. So I'm waiting for her to be going bye-bye. So it's there's down here. She was once a premier and then became a leader of Antifa. What does that tell you?
She's not the person.
Yeah, that's actually actual. I mean, the Antifa people are actually real terrorists. They originally are the real true terrorists.
Down here, they arrested a bunch of Antifa for firebombing the site that was going to be a police training center down in Atlanta. They've been in Atlanta.
That's terrorism. That's
for a while.
Yeah, they'll do their time. They're going to be going far away.
Yeah, the media is saying it's only 32, but I really do think it's more. I have a feeling that it's more than that. I think they wiped.
I always tell people, if the media says that, times it by 3 or 4 or 5.
Easily.
There's always going to be, because they don't come in small groups, and they always get hired to do the job. They're not doing it because they volunteered. These are hired guys. These are the crisis actors. These are the ones that are hired on. They get hired. Most of them get hired on Craigslist to do it. $15 an hour.
If anybody has like a, I don't know what you have up there that would be similar to it. It's kind of like a local. It's kind of like a local. I don't know what you call it. It's like a local free like variety thing. Down here we call it the Advocate. In my state, but it's free. It's on college campuses, everything like that. You could pick it up anywhere. I have seen ads for role actors.
Yeah.
For situational actors within the Advocates pages. So I mean, if you guys go look and you guys keep keeping track, if you have up there in Canada, if you have a free paper like that you can give out, it gives out concert dates, everything like that. It's kind of got some weird little articles in it. If you keep getting it, at some point, I guarantee you're going to see articles or you're going to see ads for crisis actors for somewhere, not in that area, but for somewhere. Like here, they would hire they would hire role play actors or however they want to call it for a place for like something in Missouri.
Yeah,
and that's exactly like you said. That's what they do. They'll put these lists.
They place them there to make it look as if it was worse than what it was. Even if there was a school shooting, they put crisis actors in there. In fact, there's one girl that was a crisis actor for 4 different locations, different hair colors, same person, different types of shootings, and she was part of also the Boston
The
bombing.
bombing,
She was there.
the American bombing?
Yeah, she was there to play one of the girls that got injured in the Boston bombing. This was a setup too, folks. You may not realize how crazy it is. There's a reason for all this. Again, she played the crisis because there's photographs of her playing 4 different roles. And again, we got the same type of crisis actors that are happening. We had crisis actors in the Ohio region. We had crisis actors in, where was that other location? They had Israel and said it was Turkey. That was an old photograph that took place 10 years ago, and they made it as if it happened today. There was a bombing of some sort. So they'll repeat the picture they change up a little bit, and they put a person's picture in it to make it look as if that person was just there. And I found 2 duplicates in 2 different locations, same person's face. And yet, when I was on Facebook, they said that I had no right to use that person's picture because that's copyright infringement. They put me in Facebook jail for 30 days because that there's 2 photographs of the same person in 2 different countries, but they call it violent. I was just trying to compare, saying, well, how come this person is here and that person's here, same news column, but yet different countries.
Again, with all the, you can't, and I tell people this all the time, you can't trust anything.
Copyright infringement.
Yeah. Well, think about it too. It's like this: if there's copyright infringement, if they're saying copyright infringement, that means that person's face is copywritten by somebody, which means who holds the copyright. So that would be interesting, because if that name, if you could go back, if you could find that name within, if it's the U.S. Copyright Office, I'm figuring that's where they're coming out of.
Yeah.
If you could go into the Copyright Office, could you find the person's name and find out who owns the copyright to that face? And then find out if that person is still alive, or is that person dead, or is that person actually the name of the person that they're saying it is? Yeah. I mean, you could go in there.
Same photograph with the blood on her face, and then another photograph of blood on her face, same position in 2 different countries.
Man, she's good.
Front page news. Okay,
yeah,
2 newspapers. Yeah, one was in Israel, one was in Israel, one was in Ukraine. But which country was she really in?
She's an interdimensional being.
Yeah. She likes to get around. Yeah, same. But like, I was very surprised seeing the same blood come down the same area, like as if it's just placed there. Like, gee, it's amazing how that actually works out.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, and you can't trust anything you see anymore at all. No, you absolutely cannot trust anything you see.
Like I mentioned earlier, they can CGI you so easily. I mean, they make movies now that you don't even have to play a robot in a robot suit. They already have that in the machine itself, and all you just be the actor, and it will play over you. You just have the dots on you, whatever have you, it'll track you, and so you can play that person. And you play a robot walking down into the desert, and you wouldn't know the difference. And
it's getting to the point they don't even need that.
No,
I mean, they only have to film. They only have to film someone and then be able to place their face.
Yeah.
Their face and their body likeness just right over you.
Yeah. Yeah. They got the cameras now that can do around you 360 and then put you in a body somewhere or in a whatever have you, and then they can have you some location, and they're saying, "Oh, you're over here," and then going, "No, I'm over here." "No, you're not. You're over there." "See, that's where you are," and you swear that's yourself.
I don't watch like a lot of the reality shows. I don't watch any of the reality shows, but there was if you go on YouTube and you can find a clip for America's Got Talent. And there is this group there that is using deepfake technology.
Oh, yeah. They did Simon Cowell.
Yeah. You've seen that, and that's all she's doing. And I was scared to death. My mom's like, "Oh, look at that! That's amazing." I'm like, "I don't know. That scares the crap out of me."
Yeah.
Because he's just sitting in front of the camera.
Yeah.
There's no dots on his face. You don't need reference marks.
No.
He's just sitting in front of the camera, and then boom, there's Simon Cowell singing.
Yep.
And that's like,
everybody thought he was. I mean, it looks so real. Yeah. He was shocked to see himself on that. He was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that one. That really blew me away.
No, yeah, it was absolutely frightening to me. It's like, oh my God, if we've come this far, where that's all you need is someone to stand in front of a camera and then plop, they just plop you into live television. Doing whatever.
Catherine in the chat room says I had all the available videos footage, and one was where a blood pack was shown. there was another one I saw too. There was actually a whole bunch of supposed to be body bags with people in them, and there was a guy laying inside the body bag, and he was actually having a cigarette, blowing smoke out of the body bag. And another guy trying to make an adjustment while he was inside the body bag, and the girls rushing over said, "Don't move, don't move, don't move."
No, it's amazing. I mean, they will the lengths the lengths you're going to see them go to in the next few years, especially with a new presidential election cycle coming.
Yeah,
it's going to be scary. It is going to be, because it's going to get to the point, and maybe this is where they want to get you. They're going to get you to the point where you don't believe anything. Yeah. Anything. It's not even going by a quote unquote left right, as they put it down here, the left right paradigm. Mm-hmm. This red blue paradigm anymore, where they give you believe in only this side. It's just basically going to be, they don't believe anything.
No,
you don't believe anything you see. You can't believe anything you hear.
Yeah,
and they just want division, no matter what. They need division. Like I said, in this country, especially because this country is, I think, the key to their Great Reset. They have to collapse the United States.
Yeah.
Their worst fear is a unified United States population.
Yeah.
Because again, 393 million firearms is scary. It's scary to me. But this, God forbid if we ever went down that road, none of us are going to win, because you can imagine what will happen going down that road.
One person said in the chat room was, what if Trump wasn't there? What if he didn't exist? What if JFK Jr. wasn't there? What if he didn't exist? Who would you trust? Just yourself. Yeah, you would have to be a survivor. Yeah. You would have to go with whatever is going to happen.
I'd go into the woods, build myself a little cabin, and put a big sign.
But they're trying to make it illegal. They're actually making it. They want to make it illegal that you can't move to the cabin. You can't live out of the city. They want you in the city. That's why they're trying to get all the farmers to lose all their property and give up everything to move them in the city. This is getting to be a little crazy.
Yeah, they can, and I keep saying they can try to do that, but the one thing, people do get pissed off down here if you tell them they have to do something.
Yeah,
and that is the one thing. That is the one thing with two sides that are so diametrically opposed to each other that I have noticed is completely the same. Is if you tell somebody they have to do something they don't want to do, they tend to go a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we handle it different ways. On one side they go absolutely crazy, start screaming, get into a fetal position, and start rocking. On the other side, we just kind of stand up. We toe the line, and we tell them, no, you ain't gonna make me do that. But it's still the same reaction. Mm-hmm. It's still the same reaction. It's just shown in different ways. Now imagine if those two reactions and this is the fear for them. Imagine if those two reactions were focused on one point. Now, one side would be doing a lot of the fighting. Yeah. One side would be doing a lot of the heavy work, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But still, if that was all focused on one point, one topic, if everybody finally went, you know what? If they all just went, you know what? You're right. These people are bad. And that would be it. And then everybody turns and looks at that same place.
Mm-hmm.
The globalists are done.
Mm-hmm.
The globalists are done. Now it will be scary, because how would they react to that?
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of false flag would happen.
Did you see, before I cut you on there, did you see the video that was taken back in 1840, is a video done in 1840. Yes, folks, videos that exist back then. They, Rockefellers and Bilderbergs do not want you to know the truth. They video recorded a whole bunch of people in the central city, and there were giants in the video that stood 12 to 14 feet tall. And they were wearing clothes, wearing top hats and clothes like everybody else. There's the regular people, and then there was 12-foot tall, 14-foot tall giants. Did you see that video yet?
I have not.
I got
I
it.
have not seen.
I got the video. And when I watched it and I saved it, went way, and here's a crazy one. Here's another crazy one. I saw another one that I kept. These are Stegosaurus dinosaurs pulling a wagon.
Well, Flintstones had to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Stegosaur 1840, Stegosaurus, a real Stegosaurus pulling a wagon. These are dinosaurs. They existed. What happened to the giants? What happened to the dinosaurs? Who killed them off? Not what killed them off. Who?
And how did they do it?
Yes, because they're no longer in existence. Because
Well, that would be the other thing.
yeah,
How did they possibly do it? You have to figure they would have a strength advantage.
because the Rockefellers and Bilderbergers never really started anything until 1870. Like really heavily control of the world economic system until 1870. So from there on, so anything before that was advanced technology. There were people that actually were already advanced in technology before that. Then all of a sudden, everything got degraded down to almost as if you had to start from Stone Age all over again.
No, I've always believed that there was somebody or someone or something here.
Yeah.
Probably before us. I mean, I've always wondered, especially with what's been going on now with these aluminum drone air, whatever you want to call them, whatever they're calling them, drone aircraft or whatever. I love how one said, no, it's just some balloon club from Ohio with these 32-inch balloons. No, because the pilot already said the thing was a car.
It was just another distraction.
Yeah,
another distraction.
The pilot comes out. The pilot comes out and goes, well, it's as big as a car, and it was screwing around with my navigation instruments and my targeting instruments in my F-22.
Yeah.
They're trying to say, oh no, it's just a balloon club with a little 32-foot balloon with a little 32-inch balloon with this little microchip on it. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
If any of these are extraterrestrial, maybe one was, I don't know. You got to wonder at some point. You got to wonder if they're up there, and they're either doing. I really wonder why they don't do one of two things. Why don't they just come down here and tell us that they're here? Or number two, just say, you know what, forget them. Forget them. Lost cause.
I think they rather do the number two, not just the number two. Shit on us.
Put a sign up. Put a sign up at Jupiter. Don't go in there. This species is freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Big yellow lights.
Yeah.
If you go in there at your own risk, and because we're expanding out to Mars, so we're going to come get out to Mars at some point. So they're going to have to deal with us crazies.
Yeah.
And and just be like, I'm done. That's it. I don't get these people. We try to tell them, they don't listen. Hell, we even showed them a little bit. They still don't like. They want more.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we supposed to do with them? And they have to be getting to a point. And I do want to believe there's probably more good species up there than want to make us hamburger.
Well, most of your bad species were down below, so your good species were up above.
Yeah. I think the species that want to make us hamburger, though, really want to make us hamburger. And, we have a couple guardians up there, but they got to be, we have to be trying their patience.
Well, yeah, I mean,
where
they're called McDonald's.
Yeah. Is that where it came from?
ALDS. Oh yeah, McDonald. Oh yeah, ALDS. Oh yeah, I'll have an ALDS.
Oh my God, is that where it came from? I've always wondered if, how are we ever going to evolve to a point where if a giant spaceship comes down where somebody's not trying to take a
Well, I
shot
mean,
at it with us.
we've had so many large giant ships above us for, oh god, thousands of years, and they're already now they've been cloaking in the clouds continuously. There have been so many sightings of them from everybody, but yet no one wants to believe it, or a lot of people don't want to believe it. That's bullshit. I don't want to see it. Blah, blah, blah. I go, well, you'll find out sooner or later because I've been on that ship. So what the hell, Well, I'm not sure about that. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to try and convince you.
Nah, I kind of fear. I fear for their lives because when they come down, somebody's going to try to take a shot at them.
Oh yeah,
and that's just that's human nature. And it's sad
cool.
because
I had a spirit just shoot past me, like in Spirit World, come right past me.
It's
cool.
I'm trying to tell you something. Like, don't let him talk. He's saying no. We don't want.
They're just saying, oh yeah, true. It's going to happen.
That bald-headed.
Don't shoot me now.
Bearded biped there is very scary. We don't need the pink guy, the pink thing over there saying stuff.
Yeah. Don't wear a pink dress while you have a gun in your hand. It's not a skirt. It's a kilt.
It's a kilt, man. The pink kilt. Don't mess my pink kilt. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, there is something out there that I don't know if you guys have heard of, but I found it. We were talking about it on the show one night. You may have heard us talking about it. I don't know. I would look up Sears 2025. Sears 2020, SEERS 2025. We've talked about many things on the show as it dealt with the great sea pandemic, the sea-demic, the semic, the Senenic. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't want to screw you. So there was an event called SPARS, which if you look it up, SPARS, SPARS, is basically a script for what has occurred over the last few years.
Yeah.
It's literally a script. In October 2022, good old Bill Gates and the WHO, who I've heard you talking about tonight, had done another simulation, and it's called SEERS, SEERS, in Belgium.
Yeah.
And it is dealing with another virus, this time dealing with the polio family, that will particularly make children very vulnerable.
But that would be a repeat because he already knocked off 450,000 children and women back in 2010.
This will be a main event. This will be the ready for prime time. I can guarantee you probably. The thing is, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This was just a simulation." Well, if you weren't keeping up with some of the things going on, there was back on February 27th, there was a meeting of the WHO.
Yep.
And that's when all of the documents were voted on by the WHO about giving them exclusive powers to basically be able to manage global pandemics.
Yep.
And that was voted on February 27th. Now, from what I understand, within the United States, it has to be ratified by our Congress. Right now, our Congress, of course, has two different parties holding both houses. So I haven't heard of that being done here prior to this.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not happen there. It may not happen here. For you guys up there, I think you got to be very, 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 very aware if you see any WHO bills or you see any kind of WHO agreements coming through your parliament.
The only thing I see the one I'm seeing right now, what they're doing is they're playing with SARS. They want to go after all the farmers that have those birds. So they're saying, oh, it's already here now. It's back again. And actually I had to convince a lady and say to her, it's not here. That's bullshit. It's not a true story. And she says, well, yeah, they said it was on the news. I said, it's not here because even if the bird got sick, we will never get it. It just doesn't transfer that way because once they had it and the bird dies, whether it was in the food, it gets cooked, it's gone. There's no way you can get sick. And I said that and we already know who was the one that developed it. And I said, he's doing it to distract people, make people still panic. They want you to go back and home and stay inside your house. So they want to start SARS again. And I kept telling people, no, it ain't going to happen. But I'm going to make it this prediction because this, again, I mentioned this before last week. Waters are going to rise. And this is what I was told. Waters are going to rise April the 10th. Waters are going to rise April the 10th. And it's going to happen in the West Coast. And I saw that, and I saw it and that was back in 2003. And then Spirit reminded me, it's still going to rise. It's not done. So whether, I'm not sure if it's rise as a flood or rise as in it's going to rise out of the ground, like it's going to go higher than regular water level. It's going to come up.
Earthquake.
It's going to happen. It's coming up because there's something is not written. Something's not finished. No, I predicted the tsunami back in Japan. I predicted that back for March, the year when it happened. I said it was going to happen, and nobody believed me. And I predicted it 3 days after it happened. So, so the thing is that, I mean, I don't want it to happen, but if you're seeing it, you have to share it to be prepared for it. And also, again, like I said before, Mr. F, he's still trying to repeat the SARS. He wants to make people believe that it's happening because he wants to get people to think that they have to, get all these snake bites. And if you get all these snake bites, man, you're going to be so sick. So
yeah,
we've lost so many people out there right now today, way too many than you should.
Oh, and there'll be more.
Yeah. Well, we're not done with them yet.
Think of the amount of the population that has taken that stick.
Yeah, definitely.
And it takes multiple sticks. So I mean, it's going to be more. And I unfortunately, I don't want to see it happen, but I keep telling people there's going to be more deaths.
We just have to keep on praying that those people don't get sick and pass away. We want them to still be here with us. That's the important part. Well, thank you so much, my friend, for coming in the program and to share your wisdom from the other side of the world.
I don't know if it's wisdom. It's just kind of, I see something, I'd say it.
I call it wisdom. I call it wisdom because, you're actually speaking from the earth.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, it's important for us to be out there. I mean, like I said before, for us in the U.S., we're the living legacy of 1776, and we have to keep that spirit up because once it's gone, it's gone.
One of my clients just wrote in the chat room. She says another person just passed away on Tuesday night in my building. There is at least one day a week in my building, so they're the snake bites are killing them. So,
somebody hopefully one day will have to answer for it.
Yep, it'll all get taken care of, folks. It's just a matter of just be patient and it'll all be cleared up. But I want to thank everybody for coming on the program and having to watch and listen. And please, guys, share. Also, me myself being on YouTube a little more often now. I've been graced. If you couldn't like and share and share this with everyone else, also too, I'd love to hear from you guys and let it happen. Even click on the fancy face, whatever you call it, on YouTube. Your finger up, going like, yes, I want to agree. And the more numbers, the better. I'm going to be happier. No, I do not. I will answer you guys. I do not ask for money from anybody. I do not do that. I will not do that because people say, well, you want to donate? No, I will not ask anybody to donate because it's not my thing. I earn my income other ways. So I do this because I care. This is a volunteer version of it. There are people out there that do ask for, just say if you want a volunteer income to help support their station. That's if you're paying for the programming. What I have right now, I don't have to pay for it. Well, I do pay for some of it, but not all of it. It's not major for me, but I try to share as much as possible. So I want to thank my friend for coming on, and as well, also too, folks, again, you want to find me on Telegram. I'm on Telegram. If you want to know more about what's going on in Canada, if you want to find out also too what the folks have been sharing, where to find your certificates to protect you. To basically, if anybody's ever gotten fired or lost their job because they're saying you have to have the snake bite, well then guess what? You actually contact me or whoever else that you know and get that certificate filled and present it to the people, the business, as well as the owner of the company, and let them know because they're going to be charged. Okay, that is a legal document. and they can go after them and making sure that they don't ever come back again. They're going to think twice. They never want to mess with you. Number one, right? So no one's dying, even though you haven't not done nothing to yourself, but yet they're still thinking that you have to. And no, you're not the spreader of love. You're the spreader of divine. You already know what I'm talking about. Anyways, folks, guys, take good care of each other, and love you guys a lot. And may God be with you all, and enjoy this whole week. The weather is going to be sunny for a few more days until we get more rain. I'm sure it's going to be rain. We're going to be getting a lot of rain. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, I was hoping that we get some. I was able to see the alignment of the planets, but where I lived, we got freaking clouds, and I couldn't see nothing. So, what else happened? What else can you deal with, or how can you? So I basically got Travis. Thank you, Travis, also for sending that photograph to me. And I really do appreciate it. At least I got a chance to see some pictures. And but if anyone wants to see those photographs, Travis got some pictures. You can share that with him. Just say, Travis, in the chat room, can you pass some pictures to us? And we'll have to keep those for future references. Anyways, guys, be good to each other. We'll see you guys on Telegram, if not on Facebook. And if you don't know me that well yet, you haven't found out who I am, ask me to be a friend on Facebook and or be a friend on Telegram. Join Telegram. Learn more about what's going on, and we'll see you guys next time. Be good to each other. May God be with you guys. Take care.
Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world for all alike. So why is it war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one tide, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, peace. Isn't it time for the start time? Isn't it time mother stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. With one earth, with one peace, all we gotta learn to live together.